Hi guys, PJ here. Today we are working on a Mitsubishi Shogun or Pajero, take your pick, 2003 model. I'm going to quickly show you how to remove the factory fitted radio on these particular vehicles. It's not complicated, it's not time consuming. You just got to be a little bit careful because a lot of the clips are plastic, and obviously being of this age the plastic can be a little bit brittle occasionally, so you've got to take your time. Now, to remove the radio, ideally you could do with some of these plastic leverage tools. These are made by Bojo, they're available from Amazon, eBay, that type of place, normally £1. If you use a metal screwdriver to lever something, you are going to chip the plastic, yeah? It's going to make a mess, so don't use anything metal. If you've got some other form of plastic scraper, that will suffice. All you're going to need really is something like this, and of course a crosshead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, yeah? Now, the radios are screwed in, they're actually bolted in from behind this rear plastic panel, each side. So what we've got to do first is remove the two Phillips screws up here, yeah, one there and one there. Now on an old one like this, you may find the screws are actually missing. They are on this particular one, there's nothing at all there, so you normally, you've got a bit of movement in the plastic sort of thing, and that's nice because once you've got them out, you'll feel that the spring clips are sort of mounted around the edge, and that's where you've got to pull and that's where you've got to pry. So first things first, you're going to need a couple of release keys. Like I say, you have got bolts as well, but you're going to need a couple of these. Some of them are just bolted in and these are blanked off, it will depend on the model. Pop them in the edges like you see there, and then spread them, push them apart from each other, and your radio will unclip, like so. It's got little springs on the side of it there. Like I say, some of them don't, they're bolted in at the sides, and obviously you need to get to the bolts to do that. At this point it's a good idea to cover up your gear lever so it doesn't get scratched. You don't want to drop it down onto there and scratch it. And also don't forget to press eject, take your CD out, because let's face it, most people leave a CD in and then go, damn, I've forgotten all about it. So put your radio forwards, and on the back you have some squish connectors, as I call them. What you've got to do is squeeze the little tabs in, so push the tab down and the connector will pull out. Like so. Needed both hands for that one, guys, so hence you didn't see the fantastic removal sequence. Just press your tab in, yeah, on both of them, and obviously you've got an aerial, the aerial just pulls straight out. Now, if you're doing any wiring to the vehicle and you want to know what wire does what in this, there's a nice handy, on top of the radio here, pin layout guide, look. Yeah, tells you what pin does what. Very nice and handy. Yours may have worn off, so I'll focus on this for a second or two so you can pause your video if you need it. You may not. Again, let's get back onto the radio removal. So regarding your plastic pry tool, yeah, what you've got to do is pop it down the edge. This is why you're using plastic, so it doesn't cause any damage, and literally pop. You probably heard that go there. There's clips on the side, follow it round, click, gone again. Very simple to do. I mean, you'll notice I'm doing this one-handed with no pressure on it whatsoever. You don't want to put any pressure on it, you might damage it. Make sure you support it, so use your other hand on this side here, yeah, just support it where you pop your last clips, because it's going to sort of fall, and you don't want any of your metal bits that are on the plastic clips scratching any of the dials. I've seen people do that in the past. You don't want it falling down and making a mess, yeah, so just support it. So for this part I'm just going to pause my video and I'll show you what I'm on about on the rear of the panel. The panel pulled forward like so. Don't forget your hazard warning light switch. Just here, again, it's on a squeezy tab, so you just sort of squeeze the knuckle in and pull, yeah. And with the squeezy tab on the hazard warning light switch removed, you can literally pull and remove the entire fascia. Now, the clips that hold it in that I just wanted to briefly show you, if I can get a decent camera image. There you go, there's one plastic tab, and on the rear here, there's the metal that I was on about. You don't want that falling down and scratching your fascia, so I told you to support it with one hand. That's why. That will scratch the plastic, so make sure that doesn't slip when you remove this panel. Make sure the white caps are on the plastic clips, because they can come off and stick in the holes, yeah? So those need to be on. They just slide on, they just clip on, so make sure they are actually on. There's a couple of them. Look, there's one here on this side and one here. Right, next up, if you're fitting a radio, you're going to need an adapter to convert the multi-plug here to your new radio. This particular one's not used, so we're going with this one here. Now, I'm using an auto leads one, PC2 46-4, Again, buy this from all your local car shops, from autoleads.com or Amazon, TechBit. This is your cable. It converts the factory one. Like I say, there you go, you got your ISO on one end and your plug on the other, which simply plugs onto this plug snap fit. Now you'll notice there's a wire hanging off. This is an earth wire. Okay, your radio will actually earth through the aerial, but this wire needs to be connected to a chassis earth ideally. And as you can see, there's some nice bolts. One just there, look, that we could use. So unscrew that, pop your earth cable behind it, screw it back in again. If you fit in a radio, that's the ideal thing to do. So snap the plug in. Only goes one way round. Look, there's a click connector there on it that you squeeze. It only goes in one way. Fed our earth cable round and down, ready to go. Now we need to undo this bolt. This is a 10mm bolt. You'll notice I've got a load of electrical tape shoved on the end of the socket. Good reason for that, it's a little tip. If you shove it over your bolt, when your bolt's fully undone, it won't fall out and disappear down the dashboard into no man's land. It'll be stuck in the end of your socket, so you actually know where it is. There's nothing worse, let's face it, than dropping one and it tumbles all the way down there and you can't get it back again and it's rattling around forever. So a bit of tape on the end of the socket, just tape it over and shove your socket on and it will hold it in the socket when you remove the socket. So go ahead and undo your bolt, put your black cable behind it. We'll just quickly mention at this point, you notice the radio I removed was on little release keys each side when we pulled it out. If your radio is the type that's screwed in, bolted in as such, these are the holes here that the bolts will mount to, so they've got like angle brackets attached to the radio, yeah, L-shaped brackets. You undo the 4 screws that are in these holes to remove your radio once you've got the fascia off. Like I say, this particular one, no holes on the release keys, but that's all that holds them in normally. Those angle brackets that were on the original radio can be used on your new replacement radio, so you unscrew them from the sides of the old radio and put them back in on your new radio if you're fitting it in that manner. Or of course, if you've got the room, you can use the mounting cage that comes with your new radio. So at this point, you're obviously looking at putting your new radio in. Like I say, you can do it one of 2 different ways. If yours had the brackets on, screw the brackets to your new radio, slide the radio in and put the screws back in. Or if it's like this one, you'll be putting the fascia back on, then putting your cage in that comes with your radio and sliding your radio in. You've got all your aerial connectors and everything all plugged in there. A couple of extra wires on this particular one I'm doing because it's a DAB radio, so we've got a DAB antenna which is powered, and we've also got a microphone because it's a Bluetooth as well. So with that, hopefully guys, you now know how to remove the radio from your Shogun. If you've got any questions regarding this vehicle or any other for that matter, please pop them in the comments below and I will do my very best to answer them. Obviously it goes without saying, you know, something like this, don't even tackle it if you're unsure. You know, if you're not confident about it, seek professional advice. At the end of the day, the companies are insured to work on vehicles. You know, if they damage it, they'll pay for it. Likewise, I'm not liable for any personal injury or damage sustained to your vehicle from you watching this video guide. Thanks a lot and bye for now.